Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Cyrus. Today we're going to continue to take a look at Project Nested version 1.7. This is a tool that allows you to convert NES games, NES ROMs, into Super Nintendo ROMs and play on a real Super Nintendo or play on Super Nintendo emulators. What you're looking at here is obviously Batman for the NES running on the Super Nintendo. This is a Super Nintendo ROM that has been generated from the NES ROM. So this is an interesting tool because it's been around for quite a while. There are other similar type of tools that are in development or have been in development, but I mainly just want to focus on Project Nested because it's the one I've been looking at, and I think it's the most advanced of all of these. The thing is, I want to try to make clear, if I can, that this is not just some simple little tool that's just doing a little something and making the games work better. This is a very complex piece of software that's been in development for many years, and there's an entire community that has been supporting it and is devoted to it. They have their own Discord where they share their results from various things that they're doing. There's a pretty extensive updated Google spreadsheet which gives latest results, and different people have submitted their settings to try to get games working better and things like that, and each of the games are in various different states of success as far as how good they're running on what versions and if they need patching or different things enabled or disabled. So it's fairly complicated. It's not just a simple tool that's like quickly doing something. There's a lot of stuff that it does custom for each individual NES game that you try to convert. So there's a lot going on here. I just want to make clear, I know I'm probably just overstating this, I guess. Sorry about that, but I just want to make clear there's a lot of work that these people have put into this, that the community has put into this, and it's taken many years to get to the point where it's at right now. So I highly respect that level of commitment and that level of testing and collaboration, and the results are, I think, very interesting. Now, there's still issues that I keep running into, and some of the issues that I run into might be the fact that I really just don't know how to set up everything for every game and tinker with them to get the absolute best results possible. Because there are some issues, like even the games that are running well, they will crash sometimes. There will be on-screen bugs. There'll be missing sound or the incorrect sound or incorrect graphics. There's various issues, but I've had pretty good success. I just want to share with you what I've been able to look at as far as some of these ROMs are concerned. I've been tinkering around with them, following the instructions that they have on the spreadsheet for how to set these up. And I just want to share with you some of that. I did, in a previous video, go over a few of these games. We'll look at some of those again. Hopefully get a little bit further. Like this one had crashed on us at a certain point. So I've hopefully can get past that spot, but I think I might have some other issues that have cropped up, so we'll just deal with it. I'm gonna bring the volume of the game up so you can hear that, and I'll talk sporadically. So let's take a look at some NES games converted to run on the Super Nintendo. Project Nested 1.7. I'm sure you'll see the bugs that I'm talking about as we go here. The question had been asked to me, why would anyone want to do this? Why would you want to convert NES games to run on a Super Nintendo? What would be the purpose of that? That's a very good question. In this day and age, with all the options for different ways that you have to play NES games, I don't think that, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, because you can play NES games on emulators of various kinds. You can play, NES ROMs on flash drives. See, look at this right here. When you scroll, when the screen scrolls vertically, I'm having some issues in this game right here. So, anyway. But yeah, the question was asked, why would you want to do this? Well, obviously I think that it's not necessary, but it is an interesting curiosity to see that the hardware is this compatible and that games can be converted to run on the other hardware. If you only had access to a Super Nintendo, like if that was the case, then this process effectively increases your software library considerably and lets you play the NES games as well as the Super Nintendo games. So, but that's not necessarily practical in today's day and age, obviously. But it is, that's why you would want to do it. Either out of curiosity's sake, testing the hardware to see what's possible, the software to see what's possible, or if you had very limited hardware access, it does increase your software library considerably for the Super Nintendo. But for me, this is definitely more a academic type of benefit, because I get to really see something happening that I just, we were told, and this was brought up too, my buddy Retro Bro mentioned this, we were told that it really wasn't possible. When the Super Nintendo came out, there was no backwards compatibility with the NES, and we were told, well, it just wasn't possible. But obviously it is possible. It is definitely possible to have the Super Nintendo run NES games. The question is, hang on, my phone is going off. Sorry about that. The question is, how complicated is that process, and would it have been feasible at the time with the tools that they had back in those days, with the software that they had available, and with the understanding that they had of the hardware that was in the NES and Super Nintendo? Like, is it something that could have been done? Yes. Is it something that could have been done with limited, with a limited budget and limited time? There's a lot of bugs on this part right here. You can see that. I don't know. And the other question is, of course, licensing. We've seen that happen, that be an issue for backwards compatible stuff in today's environment with the Xbox backwards compatibility, PlayStation backwards compatibility, stuff like that. We've seen, I'm just goofing around, sorry. There's issues I think that could have gotten in the way of doing that. I think that Nintendo was really focused on just moving forward, and there's only a few NES games that got converted. Oh crap, I messed my jump up again. The timing seems a little off too, so yeah, not sure what the input lag situation is here with this right here, but yeah, there's only a few NES games that actually got converted to Super Nintendo games. Some of them had enhancements like, Super Mario All-Stars, stuff like that. Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. But so yeah, I don't know how much Nintendo was thinking they could resell the same games, because they didn't really seem to focus on that too much. At least not at that point. But I don't know. Okay, so we definitely got a lot farther in Batman now. It's definitely past the part where it crashed originally, but it does have a lot of bugs. Okay, let's load up something else. Let's take a look at a different game. Okay. And we'll load up Castlevania, something that we looked at on the TurboGrafx, and see how you saw how it converted over to the TurboGrafx, so let's see what that conversion looks like running on Super Nintendo. For some reason, I'm still having the same issue where when I load a game on my flash cart on my Super Nintendo, it's not setting the SRAM, so I have to manually set that after I load the game. So you're going to see that blue screen of death pop up every time I try to load a game. But it's not a big deal. It's just kind of annoying. This is an older EverDrive, Chinese knockoff EverDrive. So yeah. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about. SRAM is missing. So you just reset it and then come here to the ROM settings, set that, and now we'll try to start it. All right. Sound is definitely not good in this game. There might be a way to fix that, but I don't know. I haven't really figured that out yet. Yeah, this sound is bad. I think the TurboGrafx handled the sound in this game better than this. Music sounds pretty good though. If you want to learn more about this, obviously there's a link in the description. You can learn how to get the software, Project Nested, and start figuring out how to convert NES ROMs to Super Nintendo ROMs. You can test them out on emulators or on real hardware if you have flash drives. Or a flash drive, I should say. Ugh. This is not how I would recommend you play NES games. Obviously, I would recommend you do that either on an emulator or on real hardware. Or like the NES Classic. Nintendo Switch has some good options for playing NES games. And a lot of the other virtual console stuff on the other Nintendo consoles is pretty good as well. This is not ideal. This is, like I said, it's an interesting curiosity. Castlevania seems to function. It's not in any, by any stretch of the imagination, perfect, but it does seem to function. All right, we're gonna look at some other games too. I don't want to spend too much time on any one game here. Screen scrolling seems to look good. I don't have any issues with that. It's mainly the sound, you know, that's really the only... Well, there's some graphical problems too, but the sound is the biggest issue, I think. Alright, let's die and try something else. Okay, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers up next. Of course, if you're a fan of those old Disney, you know, cartoons they used to run after school or on the weekends, then you're familiar with Chip and Dale. They've been around forever. Before they were a TV show, Chip and Dale was in other Disney cartoons. They got sort of reimagined when they did the Rescue Rangers. And the Chip and Dale games on NES are pretty good. They are not too bad at all. All right, let's see how this works. Music sounds pretty good. It does have a little bit of slowdown here and there, and that's something that you see a lot with these games. A little bit of slowdown here and there. But, you know, like I said, there are some issues. It's not a perfect process. And some of that might be my fault too, just because I'm not setting things up, you know, 100% ideally. This game works pretty good though. right, let's check out something else. All right, 1 second. There we go. All right. All right, Contra. And we saw this running on a TurboGrafx conversion as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it does here. It'd be a lot faster process if I had a better EverDrive. Let's see if I can get 30 lives code to work. Yes, I got the 30 lives. One thing that's nice is because this is running on my Super Nintendo, I'm able to output a signal that's a lot better than what I can get out of my regular Nintendo. Because my NES is not modified. They do have obviously mods you can get for the NES to put out RGB and S-Video and things like that, but you don't need that for Super Nintendo. So I'm outputting a S-Video signal from here. I could do RGB if I wanted to, but I think S-Video looks great. And it works for my CRT TV. So I'm actually looking at this on a CRT right now. Sound is a little off here as well. These stages right here, I think, look quite a bit better though than what they do for the TurboGrafx conversions. So that's good. Little slow down here. A little glitchy right there. Okay, so that's Contra. It seems to be working, I think, reasonably well. Some glitches, obviously, but pretty cool. A little bit slow down, not too much though. Let's see how vertical scrolling does. Vertical scrolling seems okay. Alright, let's check out something else. Now, see if Dig Dug works. I have not tested this one yet. So we'll find out together. I love owning a flash cartridge. I wish I had a newer one that was a little faster, but there's just so much you can do if you want to play with your original hardware. Obviously you can play ROMs, but you can test out things like this, and you can play translations. You know, there's a lot of English translations and things that have been done for RPGs and stuff that just never came out in the United States. So I highly recommend, if you're a fan of original hardware, getting yourself an EverDrive of some kind. Okay. So here's Dig Dug running on the Super Nintendo. I have to admit, the NES version of Dig Dug is not my favorite version of Dig Dug. It runs fine and it looks fine. It's just that the sky's not blue, and I don't know why it's not blue. It's always bugged me. I don't know. It's the little things, right? Little things always bug you the most. This game seems to run perfectly. I'm not seeing any kind of problems at all. I mean, yet. I'm not seeing any problems yet. But it's extremely simple, so really wouldn't expect to see problems necessarily. Nice. Okay, Dig Dug works. Okay, I made some changes. Let's see if I can get Donkey Kong Classics to run better than it did before. I don't know if it will, but I did make some changes in the ROM settings, so I'm curious to see if it runs any better. It probably won't, but it's worth trying because I really would like. That's one of the few games that I really prefer the NES version. Like, I think most people would prefer the arcade version of Donkey Kong, but I really like the NES version of Donkey Kong. I think it's just really good. And there is a hacked version of the NES Donkey Kong that has all the levels and everything. I just have yet to acquire that. I need to do that at some point. I like Donkey Kong on all of my retro consoles that it's available. The Atari 5200, 2600's kind of iffy though. That one's pretty weird. The 7800 version is really good, and there's a really nice remake version that's available on the 7800, which I don't have, but there is one on the Atari computer that I have that's really nice. But I still say I think my favorite version is the NES version. I just like it. Okay. Let's see how this runs. I think this might actually be way better just from looking at it so far. Oh yeah, we're not getting all those weird glitches. This is pretty nice so far. The sound is pretty good. The game is running well. It's not slowing down or anything. It might be a little slowing down. It's hard to tell. I think it is slowing down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think it is slowing down a little bit there. That's unfortunate. But I'm not seeing all those weird glitches, so that's good. Yeah, that's slowing down quite a bit. I bet if you keep tinkering with this, if I was to keep messing around, I could probably get that slowdown to go away. I don't know if I can get the slowdown and, like, if I can get everything the way I want it. I don't know if I can get the slowdown to leave and also not have all those weird graphical distortion effects that we had before. Might be an either or kind of supposition. I really don't know. But it's not like, it's not terrible, even with the little bit of slowdown that there is. I mean, it actually makes the game easier to play. Curious to see what's going to happen when I drop Donkey Kong down, because there was a pretty major graphical error when I did this last time. Like half the screen disappeared. So I want to see, I definitely want to see what happens here. Okay, that looks fine. That actually looks good. Cool. All right. I'll call that a success. All right, let's check out something else. Okay, Dragon Warrior. Another game I couldn't get to run at all. But I did make some changes to this as well. So, can we get it to run? I don't know. The big question I have is, if I can get it to run, can I save my game? Because that was the problem with the TurboGrafx conversion. It wasn't possible to save your game. So I wonder if it is possible on this. Oops. Okay, I hit the wrong thing there. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see if it works. Well, it does work. It doesn't automatically start the music at the very beginning, but it does run the music. Okay, so at least we're this far. Sounds fine so far. You can hear there's a little hiccup here and there, maybe a hint of slowdown. Yeah, a little bit of something there. Alright, I think I can go right back up and then save it. Let's see if that works. Okay. Let's see if it saved my game. Alright, I'm gonna turn off the Super Nintendo, turn it back on. Make sure, yep, that's set. Start the game back up. Look at that. It saved my game. How about that? So, you could actually play Dragon Warrior on Super Nintendo. Okay. Well, now we know. I'm not going to play too much of the game, but I will. Let me go out and get into a battle. Scrolling seems to work good. This game sounds fine, and It looks fine to me too. I think there's a couple little hiccups, but so far it seems to be pretty good. Okay. We'll buy us a club. And close. Okay, well, we got something anyway. Alright, let's see if we can kill us a slime. Yeah, scroll's fine. Sounds fine. The sound is not 100% perfect there. Let's try to fight again. It's pretty good though. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't feel perfectly fine playing Dragon Warrior like this. Of course, I'm assuming there aren't any major bugs that come up later, because that is possible. Oh yeah. Okay. Alright. We'll go save it. Since we can. And I might come back to this at some point later and play this. I love Dragon Warrior. Okay. There's Dragon Warrior. Okay. Next up, let's take a look at another game. Now, if I remember correctly, we're going to try DuckTales too. This flashcard is actually going to save my game now when I go to load another game. What it had been doing up to this point is holding it in the RAM of the cartridge, but I think this is where it actually writes it to the SD card. I might be wrong about that, but if we see it happen on screen, that's what's happening there. And after we test this game, we'll go back and see if it actually did save to the SD card. Yeah, look at there. Save SRAM to SD. think that's what's happening right there. Okay, here we go. Alright, we'll just start this. Seems to sound pretty good. It might be missing a little bit of the sound, but it sounds okay. Okay. Little hiccupy here and there. Nothing too major. It looks really good, and it sounds good. Scrolling seems okay. All right. It works. Okay, we want to go back and just double check, make sure Dragon Warrior actually did save. So let's load it back up. Yeah, the newer flash drives do this like instantaneously. That would be nice. All right. All right, let's see if it's... Yep, there it is. Yep. Okay. Well, we now know that it works. Okay, so that's good. You can absolutely save your game. All right, then there's the original DuckTales. After this, we will stop this video and I will have another session, and I'm just going to keep going. So these are going to be released pretty much like all on the same day. So if you want to just watch all these videos, you can. But since it's such a long video, I'm going to break these up into other videos, make it a little bit easier to watch. So far, that looks good and sounds good. This runs great and looks good, sounds good. Maybe a couple little hiccups, little distortions, nothing too major though. It seems pretty good. Ah! Oops. The scrolling seems okay. I'm gonna have to time this. Ah, crap. Okay, anyway, it works. We'll move on to something else. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm wrapping up the video here. So, next video, part 3, we're going to take a look at Final Fantasy. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and if you want to keep watching, look for part 3. It'll be available right after this one. And we'll be doing Final Fantasy, NES to Super Nintendo conversion. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. More stuff coming soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.